If only Fox News and CNN cared this much about so-called freedom of speech and freedom of the press in regard to Julian Assange. Now, this refers to how when Jim Acosta, I think I mentioned this in my last video, also titled Tweet, but when they were dealing with Jim Acosta and his being banned from the White House press room, I believe, I might not get that exactly right, but he was banned because during a press conference with the President of the United States, Donald Trump, Jim Acosta, who works at CNN as a reporter, was sort of rude and ended up getting kicked out of the White House, banned from the White House. And people were saying it was a freedom of speech issue and it was a freedom of the press issue. And nobody said that CNN couldn't send another person, but this individual, we're not judging by the group. We try to judge by the individual. And in this case, Jim Acosta's merit was low because he was acting kind of irrationally and rudely. And frankly, it is a privilege to be allowed in the press room and in these places, because look at how many independent journalists can't even get into the White House. It is a privilege to be there. Like even these sort of mollusk media individuals, these middle media individuals like Alex Jones of InfoWars, despite their popularity, they can't get in to the White House press room. So of course it's a privilege to be there. And Jim Acosta lost, temporarily at least, due to his behavior and his actions and his flaws, his dearth of merit in this particular area. Not because he was part of the press. It's not an attack on the press at large. It's, you can't just do whatever you want. Julian Assange knows that, and where's the coverage for Julian Assange? Why isn't Fox or CNN fighting for Julian Assange, who, as the founder of WikiLeaks, has really potentially, I can use hyperbole here, he's potentially saved the world from itself by, being the publisher of information and opening the door to whistleblowers like Edward Snowden and Reality Winner, who, and of course Chelsea Manning, who, along with WikiLeaks, published U.S. military information in 2010. Without Julian Assange, you wouldn't have Edward Snowden and others feeling emboldened to come out. And when Edward Snowden leaked the documents about how our Fourth Amendment had been thrown under the bus by the NSA and their surveillance program, we needed to know that. We need the curtain pulled back. Now, I do agree, I do see the friction on both sides. When classified information is let out, it can produce a homeland security or any sort of national security issue. It can compromise people if things aren't redacted correctly. But of course, WikiLeaks is very good about redacting. They have a special program in place, a process, I should say, not a program like a computer program, but a process for making sure that redactions are made. And with or without redactions, WikiLeaks has a 100% accuracy rating. Okay, they've never been wrong. Try that with the other journalism outlets on the news. Try that with Fox News or CNN, New York Times, New York Post, Washington Post, LA Times, any of these. The Wall Street Journal, Forbes. I mean, everybody gets things wrong. And all of my favorite independent and middle media outlets get things wrong. But WikiLeaks has a 100% accuracy rating. And the powers that be do not like that. That's why Julian Assange, his human rights have been absolutely abused. And I do say pardon Julian Assange. I implore President Trump, pardon Julian Assange, free Julian Assange, and allow WikiLeaks to keep on informing the world, pulling back the curtain on governments worldwide, and letting the people know who, in many cases, who democratically elected those individuals, what exactly they voted for. And when WikiLeaks released the Podesta emails and the DNC emails and Hillary Clinton's emails, the American public found all about what the Democrat Party is all about. And they made a judgment call for themselves, partially as evidenced by November 8th, 2016. So it is important that we remain pro-information. And I always say more information is better. You need to have the full picture before you can zoom in. You need the full mosaic before you can make a smaller segment for consumption later, as in the case of my tweet videos. So.